Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody who's watching the replay. We're going to get right into it. I'm excited to have this video with you all today. Let me close these comments so I don't get distracted. I'm excited to have this impromptu Q&A with everybody. I've collected a few questions from Instagram. I've collected a few questions from people who just texted me and DM'd me. So I'm excited to go through these questions. I have been super, super busy, and sometimes the easiest thing to do rather than try and come up with something creative to share with you guys is just start talking to you guys. Get directly with you face to face. So I'm excited to be here today. This is a really important question that I want to hear your feedback on. So again, those of you who show up for the live and those of you who watch the replay, please let me know in the comments what I want to know. What type of content is it that you enjoy? This is a really important question for me to distinguish. Are you wanting feng shui because you're wanting to make your home feel better and look better? Is that why you're attracted to feng shui and what you want to use it for? Or are you specifically here at this channel because you want to manifest more with feng shui? You want to harness the energy in your space and use it to your advantage, like having the wind at your back so that you manifest more. It's a little bit of a trick question, but I want to know, comment, what is your gut reaction? What's your gut response to that? It's a bit of a trick question because when you do balance the elements in your space and use feng shui to help it feel better by balancing the elements in your space, you do end up manifesting more. But different people are drawn to feng shui for different reasons. And I'm curious to know which way you're coming at it with. Totally oblivious how to set up my home, wanting to manifest more and make more. Great, great. Oh, thank you. Wanting to manifest more and make more abundance from my space. So hard to know with no background. Okay, awesome. This is so great. If you have any specific questions, go ahead and type them in here and I will get to anybody who comments first in here, I'll get to your questions first. So if you have specific questions about you and your space, write them in. Lovely yoga. Use the energy with feng shui for a better life. Okay, so it's sometimes I ask these questions and it's just all encompassing. That's the beautiful thing about feng shui, right? So awesome. Keep it coming. Let me know. As you guys think about your questions and type them in too, I want to point out some patterns that I've been seeing so far this month. I'm looking down at my notes. I don't know if it's rude to be looking down. The patterns that I'm seeing so far this month and the pain points that I'm seeing so far are a lot of people, including myself, I'm catching myself doing this occasionally as well, is I'm noticing people are, for lack of a better word, complaining about their situation without really being present and being intentional and like taking ownership of their role in their circumstances. So, like, a fun example of this, okay, this is a light, easy example, is I got a facial last week and my skin has gotten really bad. If you guys watch some of my recent videos, you know September was a pretty intense one for me, and I was suppressing a lot of emotions, and I was kind of getting a lot from everybody at all angles, and so my emotions, it was like starting to show up on my face a little bit. But I'm kind of being honest about that because that's how it all shows up. If we don't um get control of our emotions and we don't kind of like stay present and healthy, it's going to show up on our skin, it's going to show up in our health, and then it's going to start showing up in our environment. So anyway, I needed some extra help. I needed to get ahead of it. But in all honesty, with doing the DIY feng shui course in July, super busy, 16-hour days, like wasn't keeping up with my face routine. And then I just did the new training, the new masterclass. The link for that is in the description of this video. And that also, I wasn't like eating well or keeping up with my face routine. So anyway, I go to this facialist. She's like, "What's wrong with your skin?" I talk about it. I complain about it. And then I say, "But you know what? It's on me." Because then she tries to sell a product because, of course, she wants me to have a solution. She wants me to be a happy customer, and she wants to sell me a product to give me a solution so that I'm happy. But I had to be honest with myself. I have been terrible at my routine. I'm not washing my face. I'm not keeping up with all the products that I have. So the patterns I'm seeing in October so far, that is my example of something that everybody's got their own form of that. I can't be upset about something if I am not doing anything to prevent it. Does that make sense? Sorry, I got distracted by the comments. I will look at those in a second. So I really, really, really want to encourage you guys before period 9. Period 9 is we're transitioning into it. We feel it more than ever. It starts in 2024 and it's going to be this great female, fiery, fun energy. If you guys watch the video, the interview with Chipro Sam, I mean, are you already seeing how accurate some of her like forecasts have been? I know we talked about how it's going to be this great period of women empowerment and women in charge. And I'm seeing so many commercials centered around women. We're also seeing the downside of some things in the news with women, but there's always kind of like a breaking apart before a rebuilding. So sometimes too, if there's a little bit of chaos in your life, just know like, okay, this is being chaotic because it always gets messy before you can rebuild it. So it is usually a good sign. For me, I got let go from my corporate job and then I started this wonderful business. So thank goodness for that mess before I was able to create something new, right? Because I probably would have just stayed comfortable and never actually jumped into my passion, or maybe it would have just been a lot later. So I'm seeing a lot of commercials about the women already. It's really the women, women like CVS has got all these great commercials about women. And anyway, why was I saying that? Oh, before period 9, it's super important, especially in this next year, to really be and just be so intentional, really slow things down, unfollow all the people who are distracting you on Instagram and on social media who aren't helping you be a better person. These, if you're following a lot of accounts that complain or talk about how things aren't going well, get rid of them for a while. Even just a little bit, you can always go back, but really be intentional. What are you surrounding yourself with in your space? How are you spending your time in your day? What is it that you're talking about to people? Because every minute counts. And that's why I'm so excited for the new year and for 2024 and on, because I'm just excited for everybody to get back to who they are and be more intentional and take accountability for their actions. We all need to like reassess, right? And that's why I give the funny example about my face routine. I can't be complaining about clogged pores and face stuff if I'm not washing my face. So excited for that. The where I saw it with other people, some people are talking about no friends or back pain, and it's like those people were, it's like, look at what's going on though. How can you contribute to your own life? How can you make your own life great? Because we are ultimately the ones in control of the outcome of our life. So I think I've driven that point home. I mentioned how Sam's interview, there's already so much great stuff coming to light that she talked about. Um, ba, 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 ba. Oh, I didn't pull this up quick enough, but I'm also so excited because period 9 is going to be a period of like a lot of color. We're going to see a lot of colors. We're going to see a lot of colorful, like design stuff is going to go more color. We've been in a 20-year period where it's been very metal, right? Everything's been gray, everything's been white, clean, minimal, pure. And it's kind of funny because I talked about how we're going into a period where everyone's going to be more intentional and they're going to but so I think decor is gonna get busier. It's gonna be bright and fun and colorful, but I actually think in that same breath, people are going to become more minimalists. So they're going to design somewhat busy, but I think people, because of this intentionality and wanting to just like release and only surround themselves with things that are important, we're going to see more minimalism, but a lot of color. And I didn't get a chance to pull it up today. I'll share it on Instagram. Go follow me there at Elemental Clarity. And I'm sure I'll pop in here at some point and show it. But the color, Benjamin Moore's color for 2023 is like a coral red color. And 9, this period we're going to, is fire. So I know we're going to see a lot more earthy tones. We have fire supports earth. So we're going to see a lot of earthy tones. We're going to see a lot of fire and bright colors. I'm very excited for it. And it is just cool to use Feng Shui to forecast. I said that on Instagram a long time ago, and it was cool to then see Benjamin Moore come out with that color. It was pretty neat. So, okay, let's make sure be more intentional. Okay, so speaking of being more intentional, I created my newest training. You could call it a masterclass. I feel so weird calling it a masterclass, to be honest. It's a training, it's a presentation. I don't know what you want to call it, but how to create a peaceful and positive home with stuff you already have. There's 3 different techniques you can apply today. You can, this weekend, you can watch this masterclass, this presentation, and there's going to be 3 things you can do today to bring in more peace and positivity into your home. You're going to, what's really cool about this, I even blew my own mind with this as I was writing it and I was thinking of it. I was like, whoa, this is really good. It's your after you watch this, you're going to have a whole new lens on how you look at your house. Even me, like I am always trying to reframe ways to explain feng shui and to like speak about your home. One of my biggest insecurities is that I don't feel like I'm very eloquent, or that I have a very big vocabulary. So the business side for me is very easy. Numbers are easy, but marketing and like thinking of like ways to explain this in a unique way can be difficult for me. Anyway, my point was there's going to be so I was very excited that I was having these like really great downloads of how to explain it so well. You're going to look at your home in a whole new way. And again, it's how to create peace and positivity with stuff that you already have. So no buying anything, no renovating anything. It's yeah, it's purely about stuff you already have and you're going to see your home in a whole new way. I'm so excited for you. There's also a surprise in there. So I recommend looking at it and it's a great thing to do over the weekend. Let's check out some of these comments. You're a master. Oh, that's nice. You're a master at it, so it should be called a master class. I don't think I'll ever feel like a master because feng shui is 5,000 years old. And I think I'll always feel like there's something more I need to know. But thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Let's go through some of these questions. I said I would do the chat first. Wanting to manifest more and make more abundance. Okay. I'm going to note that for all of your future videos. Love your channel. Thank you. Use the energy with feng shui for a better life. Yes, my desk. Okay, so here's one. My desk faces the wall. Front door opens to a large living room, showing glass balcony doors, everything pushed against the wall, really. My desk faces the wall. Okay. The front door opens to a large, so front door opening to a large living room is a-okay. That's nice. Showing glass balconies door. Okay, so I think you're saying your front door is aligned with the back balcony doors. It is often said that you don't want a door aligned with another door. And so I know what you're getting at with that. What you can do in those cases, everything has a caveat with feng shui, which is why, like, on one hand, there's so many YouTube videos I need to make. And then there's days where I'm like, but what do people want? What are their questions? I don't know what else to talk about. This is good question. So if there's a certain amount of distance, if it's really far away from each other, then that distance sort of solves the problem. But what you can do if you have like an atrium space, if it's really far and you have an atrium space, you can add in a round table. And I guess I'm speaking to everybody who has a similar issue to this. Depending on the proportions of your space, if you have a round atrium table, you can put a nice round table because then the water will flow around. Water, as in pretend it's energy, will flow around. So if you envision energy being poured in your front door, it will go around the table. That round table sends the energy in all directions rather than shooting straight to your back door. So if you don't have enough room for the table, you can also add in a round rug. Rugs redirect energy. Plants redirect energy. Really, if you can position anything to kind of redirect energy so that it's just not this clear line of sight from the front to the back, and it can be as simple as a rug. Everything pushed against a wall. For the desk, I would just say, can you rotate it? I know some people are like, well, it's weird because I have cords and I have the back of my computer, But how often do you have other people in your house looking at your stuff? Is it more comfortable and are you more productive working in the power position? So who really cares about the cords on the back? There's also things you can do, like you can cover the desk with a piece of cloth, so that hides a lot of the cords. You know, I personally have always just cared more about being in the power position to get good energy so that I have a lot of energy to work, a lot of productivity to work, and then I make more money and then I can just buy a nicer desk or I can buy a nicer place and it kind of fixes itself. So, if nobody's really walking around the space, um, I would prioritize just rotating the desk if you can. It's not a big deal if things are aligned on the walls, really. That's okay. That's okay. It is what it is sometimes, depending on the size of your space. And then for cords, the easy trick, I'm no organization um like expert, but I know if you look at Pinterest or Etsy, they've got all kinds of cool solutions. Like you can get these cool books that you put cords in so it looks like you have books, but really it's just like a box hiding your cords. I personally just get twist ties and I get a black twist tie if all my cords are black, white twist tie if my cords are white, and I just twist tie all those together and keep it organized. But yeah, right now, if somebody were to walk into my office, they'd see all my cords. But, I'd rather be in the power position. Can the monthly energies affect our pets too? Mm, I think that everybody can feel energy. I think pets can feel energy. Actually, fun fact, when I was getting trained in Feng Shui, my teacher was talking about how sometimes if she couldn't figure out where the energies were, so I'll show you here's a floor plan. I have this pulled up for future point I want to make. But so sometimes when we do these calculations, these classical star or flying star calculations, and we don't exactly know what the front of the house was or the back, and so we're not really sure if we have the right calculation. We ask the homeowner questions a lot and we say, because 5 and 7 together mean something, 9 and 2, 8 and 1. These groupings of energy tells us a story, and we can kind of like foresee the trials and also the wins of what people are experiencing in the house. So, but if it's really difficult, my teacher once said that she followed a cat. She followed the cat throughout the house because cats are very, very energetic beings. Dogs are a little bit more silly, but cats often sit in good energy. And they also sit in the sunlight, but sunlight brings in good chi and the natural light and sunlight brings in the good energy. But anyway, so to answer your question, can the monthly energies affect our pets too? I would say yes. Dogs aren't as stressed out as we are. Cats, again, they're just more in tune. So it's not in the same way that it all affects humans. And they have a pretty easy life. They're just chilling. So it does. They can feel it, but not in the same way, not as extreme. Like if in the monthly forecast I say avoid this area, it's not as good. There's a 5 there and it's difficult. You don't have to worry about your pets. They can hang out. I get confused about the directions. West isn't great for this month, but is the west of every room? Okay, good question. I get confused about the directions. West isn't great for this month, but is it the west of every room? This is exactly why I pulled up. Well, this isn't exactly why, but I'm glad I have an example here. BTB Feng Shui, all Feng Shui makes it so that you have this large taiji, or you can shrink it to every room. You can really, really like overthink things. All of us can. So I would say don't. I'm trying to think about how to. This is sometimes why it's better to have the question before because I like to be succinct. Don't worry about the west of every room. Look at your house as a whole. How do I do it? Maybe that's a better way to answer it. How do I do it? If this was my home, I would just say, where's the West? Here's the West. This is not the day I'm going to be or this is not the month I'm going to be spending all my time here. I'm not going to make my important business calls here. I'm not going to have my coffee here. I'm going to go over to the other direction. I don't remember which direction this month was great, so I don't want to say an example, but I just go use the other more beneficial energy if I'm having a more difficult time. And if I have to work in the West because everything is set up in the West, it is what it is. So it's always just something to be mindful of, and again, everything is intentional. So, I look at this as a whole. When we shrink the Taiji and put it over different rooms, that's when we're, like, really getting specific, we're really getting custom to the home. I know that BTB Feng Shui will say your love corner is over here in the living room, your love corner is over here in your bedroom, and your love corner is over here in a different room. You can think that way if you maybe are sharing, if you have roommates, if the whole house isn't your own and you wanna tap into the energy, but if the whole space is yours, I don't think of it that way. I use the whole house as a whole, and I don't shrink it into the small rooms. So, to answer your question, I get confused about directions. West isn't great for this month, but is it the west of every room? I would say no. Every month I look at it as a whole, large picture. I do not go room by room. We go room by room for different reasons. Okay, yes, an apartment, not a house. Okay, cool. Answer your question. This is almost okay. If you have any more questions, pull them in. We have a little bit more time, so I'm going to share with you some other questions that I got. And I'm going to pull them up here. You are so welcome. You are so welcome. Thanks for coming today. Thanks for coming. My apartment has been the same since 2013. Hey, I was never one to move. I get it, living in a place for a long time. That's okay. And now I'm in my grandmother's home. She was here for 45 years. So people live. And I think the apartment I moved into, my first apartment in Dallas I moved into, um, the person before me there, which I'll show you guys. I have my Bagua map from that actually. This is the first apartment I moved into, and my very first hand drawn, not my very first, but one of my nicer hand-drawn Bagua maps that I did back in the day before I did Flying Star. The person right there before me lived there for 10 years, and then I lived in that one for, like, 5. So it was a good apartment to be in. Okay, so let's get back to some of the questions. This question. This is one submitted from Instagram, 2023 Feng Shui planning update. When should we start? I love this question. Also, because I'm familiar with the person who did it, and we were talking, she's already planning where her Christmas tree goes. And I was like, don't tell me you're somebody who puts your Christmas tree up before Thanksgiving. She said, no, no, no. But I love that she's already planning. 2023 Feng Shui update. When should we start? 2023, we go off the solar calendar, and then we go off Chinese New Year. So the New Year isn't even until like February. I think last year it was super late, right? It was like February 13th was the New Year. Usually it's around the 7th. So I'm not even thinking about 2023 just yet. We have so many we have the November, December, and January monthly feng shui forecast before we even start thinking about the energy of 2023. So I would say don't worry about it yet. Maximize the rest of the year. That's 90 days. Do we know how much we can get done in 90 days? I created my DIY feng shui program that's doing so well. I created this masterclass. I'm doing email funnels. There's so much left. On one hand, 90 days doesn't sound like very long, but there's so much time left. I would not even be thinking about 2023. And if you are somebody, subscribe and follow now if you're watching this, if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so that you are alerted when those monthly feng shui forecasts come out. Because think of how much you can, what do they say? A habit is 21 days, and then the discipline of sticking with it. that's 3 more habits you could create or break. So, not even worried about 2023 just yet. Let's finish off strong. Let's hit a lot more goals. Let's set ourselves up to be in an even bigger place so that we can make 2023 amazing. But no need to plateau or settle and think about next year just yet. But to answer her question on when should we, I start talking about it in January. So once everybody's done with like the American holidays and the American New Year and they're getting all excited about that and chills out and everyone's all, oh my gosh, I ate so much over the holidays and all that. I start talking about it like mid January or early after all those holidays have completed. Another question I want to share is, hey, I got a text. Hey, I'm starting to look for a new house. What things should I look out for? I have so many things to say about this. This should be its own video one day. And I show my first answer. Okay, so hey, I'm starting to look for a new house. What things should I look out for? First things first. And I don't want anybody to be worried if your home is not these things. This is just if you're going to a new apartment, if you're going to rent, to buy. But if your situation is not currently this, do not panic. It's okay. Let me get a drink of matcha really quick. Matcha with me. Because I know from experience, firsthand experience, when I was creating this Boggle map and I started out with BTB and I started out with like going through all those articles. I mean, 9 years of trial and error with this thing. I'm almost on a decade now. I did BTB for probably the first 7 years, and then that's another story. Actually, I talk about it a lot in the masterclass, so you should go over and watch that masterclass or the training or whatever we're gonna call it. But this is BTB, and um, so I started with that, and I was sifting through all the articles that really lead with fear. It's kind of crazy how people in this energy world, human design, astrology, feng shui, like, we're all here to spread good energy. At least I'm here. Maybe I can only speak for myself. I'm here to spread good energy. I'm here to help people feel empowered and like they have control over their life, because you do. Your actions control the outcome of your life. Your home influences your energy, and like you have so much control and you have so much more power than you even realize. And I want everybody to be just so blissed out and happy by knowing that you it's just so exciting. You get to create your own life, and these obstacles are just setting you up for something even more exciting. So it's very frustrating to see when there's feng shui articles that are like, if you don't do this, you're going to wreak havoc on your life. There's a comment on one of my YouTube videos. This poor woman, that's what she was reading. Like, oh my gosh, if I mess this up, if I do my Boggle map wrong, I'm going to wreak havoc on my life. And it's going to be like, I don't know what the comment was, immanageable or like you can't make up for it. You can't undo it. I can't think of the word. And I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You're fine. Because ultimately, you being in good energy is like so monumental. Being in fear is not. So my point is, it's very annoying to go through these things and they say, oh, if you don't put this lucky thing here, you're going to get bad luck. And if you don't use this, you're going to get bad luck. That's also why in my monthly feng shui forecast, I'm like, here's where the more difficult energy is. So maybe don't have a deep conversation with your partner here, because it's just not like setting yourself up for success. But also don't be afraid of that part of your home, because there's a good side to all the energy. There's a more difficult side and there is a good side to all of it. Even the 5. The 5 has good sides. It's just a little harder to work with depending on where you're at emotionally, physically, and mentally. So, I digress. Why was I even talking about that? Fear and how it's annoying that people lead with fear. I don't know. Oh, this is because we were answering this question. Hey, I'm starting to look for a new house. What things should I look out for? So if you don't have any of these things, don't worry. And if your whole house is the exact opposite of what I say is good, don't worry about it. Okay. If this house, the energy of my house, a old school feng shui person would have said, don't move in, because of my energy pairings are very difficult, but for family reasons, I had to move in. It wasn't really one I chose. So, when you're looking for a new house, square is ideal, or a wider rectangular shape for your home is ideal because of how it disperses evenly in the Bagua map. Imagine if this was really narrow and linear. So I get a lot of people who move into townhomes or apartments where it's a very narrow apartment and it's long. And so then they have like a lot of the north, a lot of the south, but then they only get little slivers of the other directions. And you really want to be able to sample and get access to as many of the directions as possible. So it's really nice if you have windows in all of these areas as well. You don't want to live in a glass house because that's all yang. You want a balance of windows to walls because you want a balance of yin and yang. Yang lets in all of the energy, but yin is the calm receiving, right? We want yin bedrooms because that's where we're relaxing and we're being calm. But we like a lot of natural light in our offices because we need to be energized and yeah, so the yang energy and the natural light is helpful there. So, if you're looking for a new home and you're on the market or you're looking to move, look for a square or like a wide rectangle so that you can have as much of a balanced Bagua map sampling of all the energies as possible. That's same for all the like houses that are kind of wonky shapes, right? If we have missing areas, if we have holes in the middle of our house, it's just very tricky. So, basic blanket rule is look for those. Then I have written down the other suggestions here. You don't want to be you don't want to have a house that's directly at the end of a T junction. So if you're in a car and you see a road and you see a house directly at the end of the street, that's what a house at the end of a T junction is. So just like we talked about in the beginning, you open the front door and the energy goes straight through the back. You don't want somebody like who could just drive straight into your house. Then imagine that. You don't want that energy, it's just too much of a shoot of energy. So you want to look for a house that's just not directly in line with the road. You also do not want a tree or a light post or an electrical post right in front of your front door. It's really important to have room and space around the front door. You would like a proportional door to entryway ratio. You'd like the shrubbery to be a good distance. You don't want it clogging the front door. You want it kind of spaced out. And also, so you don't want that pole, that post, anything right in front of the door because that also creates sha qi, which is something that if you have the door, the energy tries to flow in and it splits it. Not good. You want the energy whole to go in to your front door. So avoid that. Or if you are in a home and you're having difficulty in that house and it is a smaller tree and it's your land and you can do whatever you want, I would recommend taking down that tree. You can't go wrong. If it's directly in line with your front door, it will only help you, it will only benefit you to remove that tree. I mentioned the proportional beautiful front door. I love this analogy. If the Amazon guy, the UPS guy, the mailman can't find your front door because the address maybe isn't labeled well, or the front door isn't illuminated, or the shrubbery is just overtaking the front door, if the Amazon guy can't find your front door, neither can good energy. Also, preferably no staircase or bathroom directly in the center of the house. That is because the center of our house, the energy there is very there's central grouping of energies right here, and it's just like the core of the home, so you don't really want to disrupt it with a bathroom or a staircase. I know a lot of architects that are in the development world, and they had some floor plans that were just standard where the bathroom was right in the middle, and I was like, "You guys, you're screwing everybody over. You need to move that bathroom a little bit off so that they don't buy that." or so they're not stuck with that layout. But again, I've also seen plenty of homes where there is a staircase right in the middle and other things are fine. So there's no such thing as a perfect feng shui home. You can't get it all. You really can't. There's always going to be something off. So if worst case is the bathroom is there, don't worry about it. Just keep it nice and pretty. And also look at the neighbors before you buy or before you rent. Check out how the neighbors, not them specifically, but check out, do they take care of their lawn? Do they take care of their house? Do they maintain it? Because it's just helpful. Your energy comes from your environment. So the original feng shui is from mountains and waters and landforms. So often people sit in their house first and they decorate in there first and they think that's all it is. And that's great when you're doing DIY. That's what I did. Or if you're in an apartment, that's where you start. But if you were to work with me one on one, or any classical feng shui consultant, they look at the big picture first, like where are the roads coming in, and then they get more and more honed in. What's the landforms? So we are looking at your neighbors as well. Do they have any broken fences? Do they have any just dead trees, dead plants? Do they not maintain their lawn? Because that energy does ultimately come around you. And there's things you can do in your own home to not worry about them if you're already in a house and you're like, oh, shoot, my neighbors are terrible. But we're answering the question, if you're looking for a home, what do you look out for? And those are some of my answers. There's so much more as well. Okay, let's wrap up with questions in here and then let's call it a day. I'll let you guys get back to your weekend. I have indigo paint on my walls in a bedroom, very dark with all. I have indigo paint on my walls in my bedroom, very dark with all white furniture. Cool. The dark is nice and yin. That can be great. I read that purple paint can give you blood disease. Well, that's what I mean. Who decided this? You know? There's so many crazy things out there about bathroom pipes. And oh, this is one. I had a client once say he heard that you go broke if when you're sitting on the toilet, there's a mirror right in front of you and you'll go broke. That guy was making so much money. And I was like, well, is it proving to be true? He had just gotten, we did some stuff in his feng shui. He got like a $50,000 bonus. So I was like, no, it's obviously not true. I read the purple paint can give you blood disease. Another way to, like, suss out the hearing this information and just, like, work with your nervous system before it panics is actually purple in color psychology is royal, right? It's Purple was the color of royalty. Purple was the color of wealth. So, you could also go down the whole path of, like, well, which culture's definition of purple do you want to be using? So do not worry about that. Ultimately, does the purple make you happy? Do you like the color of that room? Does it make you feel good? Awesome. There's certain things that I would maybe debate with somebody about, like a bright red wall or something that's like really intense, because that can be a little bit of an effect. But if ultimately you feel good with that color, don't worry about blood disease. Years ago on a feng shui website. Yeah, some of the stuff I get is so nuts. Okay. How to be using colors. I'm a metal 6, but love earthy colors and pinks and purples. Well, again, everything comes to intention. Really enjoy that masterclass. It's amazing. I really also recommend my DIY feng shui program because it's so much about being intentional and really reconnecting with your intuition, reconnecting with what makes you happy and what your purpose is and what you're here for. Like, what are your goals? And how can we use our space to help us reach our goals faster? Goals also as well as like purpose. It's all encompassing. So how to be using colors. I'm a metal 6 but love earthy colors, purples and pinks. So I was saying that because if you love all those colors, put them everywhere. Earth colors. Well, so earth is wonderful because earth supports metal in the elemental cycle. So decorate away with earthy colors. You don't have to only do your um element, I actually find that whatever your personal energy number is, and if you guys don't know, the link for that is also in the description of this video. You can find that out for free. People like the elements that are right around them. Wood people, so numbers 3 and 4, love woods, teals, plants. I have not met a 3 or 4 that doesn't love teals, greens, and blues. They usually are like in their own, they stay in that world. I am earth and I also love metal. So some would say, well, metal in the elemental cycle, that's going backwards, metal suppresses earth. But I think it's what you like that's around you. So you can really be free flowing with it. But the fact that you love earthy colors, that only supports you. So that for sure is good to go. And then pinks and purples, I would argue that some lighter purples, anything pastel even a light pink, pink is actually pretty fire. But purples and like pastel colors, I actually argue sometimes are metal because there's so much white in them. Oh, it's 111 here, everybody. There's so much white in them, and white is metal, so I can consider white as pastel. So how to be using colors, just surround yourself with what you love, and so if you love those colors, keep using them. So maybe I need a little bit more specific of a, like, where are you having difficulty using the color? The internet talks are wild. I am so happy you're here. You're yes. That's crazy. Hi, Glenn. Hi. Thank you for being such a great function. Oh, thanks. Thanks for being you. You guys are also, he's also great. Guys, if you want a medium, Glenn, write him. Write him. Find him on YouTube. He is an amazing medium. He's so wonderful. So wonderful. We've talked about, let's talk about Glenn for a second. Glenn, thanks for joining us. I am in my grandmother's home, as you guys know, and so it's really cool. Him and I were working together on something, and she just kind of like came in. She just came in and said she was happy I'm here, and she surrounded the house with like silver and gold sparkles. So that's pretty cool. This is such an amazing. Yes, yeah, I love it. Go do it. I have mirror closet doors too in the bedroom. Okay, that is so glad you're here. Also, mirror closet doors. In the bedroom I grew up in, I had that as well, and I also have some clients who they have that in their bedroom and they don't mind it. I will say everybody always sleeps better when they're not by a mirror, but if you're going okay and you're feeling all right and you don't need a solution to it, don't worry about it. Don't fix it if it isn't broken. So, and then like when I go home and visit my family, I sleep in a room where there are mirrored closet doors. So it is what it is. I will say my clients who have those, some people just like to put a curtain in front of it. You can make it really nice, like some sheer curtains on the side so they're really light and airy, and you can just pull them over the mirrors before you go to bed, and then you can leave them open during the day. Yeah, I love lilacs. That makes sense. It being metal. Yeah, exactly. They face the windows, the mirrors face a window and bed in between. That's fine. You're all good. Yeah. You can, if it's not going well and you don't like how it feels, you can put curtains over it to subdue that exchange of energy. You can also just like practice. If you're like, well, I don't know if I would sleep better, get some fabric and just thumbtack it to the wall and cover it and see if you feel better and if it's worth you investing in some curtains. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to wrap it up. Oh, it was so exciting, guys. This shows me there's progress. Believe it or not, I did my first live this year. So I think I'm in year 2 of the business, and I'm like, just did a year on YouTube. And so like, this is just another example. I talk about this all the time. Feng Shui is so, for me, is so meta. I'm always helping new clients, helping new people improve their lives with Feng Shui. But like, life is never, it's a series of destinations. We never like actually reach, we're always improving ourselves. So I am still always using Feng Shui and practicing Feng Shui and doing things with my Feng Shui to improve my own life and reach my own new goals. And then in the meantime, that's my job, is to help people also achieve and reach new things. So that's also sometimes why I'm like, I don't think I'll ever be an expert, because I just am always like, I want to learn more. I want to be better. And so there's always just more going on. That being said, one of the very first things is I could never hop on YouTube live. I was just nervous and felt like I really needed to prepare. And in the beginning, no one would show up to these things. Um, so it's very cool that more and more people are showing up. I love chatting back. You guys, I'm just always when you work for yourself, you don't have any coworkers. So like ask me your questions. I love it. That like feeds me and fuels me too. Shows that you guys are interested and you want to improve your lives as well. And like let's make it happen and let's keep using feng shui. My Instagram is at elemental clarity. I don't think I have one of these banners that I can click. So subscribe, but at Elemental Clarity, spelled like this, spelled like my YouTube. Go ahead and yeah, subscribe here, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're alerted for any more YouTube videos that come out. My Instagram, it's a different world over there. You get fast tips, you get some inside thoughts, you get some other inspiration, some motivation because it's short form content. So it's not the same content that you see over here. So go follow me on Instagram. And if you have time this weekend, go work on, or not work on, but go have a watch. I want to pull it up. Go have a watch. This How to Create a Peaceful and Positive Home with Stuff You Already Have and tell me what you think about it. And honestly, you can politely give me feedback as well. If I don't really want to put that out there to everybody, but you guys that showed up today have been so nice. If you want more, or if there's something that's still missing from that, I want to tweak it. I want to make this training like the best thing ever. I think it's great. I think you're going to see your home in a whole new way. I would love to hear your feedback on it. And if there's ever anything that you want to hear more of, let me know. Subscribe. Have I covered all my boundaries? You guys keep commenting. Perfect. Going to follow. Oh, thanks. Thank you guys so much. We're going to wrap it up here today. Have a great day. Bye.